And then you had Mike Brown. Mike Brown, this whole, and I'll get into this a little bit later. But with Mike Brown incident, I didn't like the whole case at all because I figured out how the whole thing was going to go. I knew how this indictment was going to go. It was not going to go good for Mike Brown in any way, shape, or form. Now, this Darren Wilson guy, the man who killed Mike Brown in cold blood, he's out free because the Missouri grand jury decided not to indict him. Now the federal government is trying their best to make sure that he's actually getting indicted. You know, and I appreciate that. And it's cool. You have the right to do that. But what are the odds of you actually making sure that actually happens? What are the odds of this actually going through? It's slim to none to me, man. It's slim to none. Damn, I'm spitting all day. It's slim to none. And I'll tell you, I'm sorry, but that's the truth. But this guy right here, why is it impossible to indict a cop? Why is it impossible for Department of Justice to investigate? Why is it so possible for all this to happen and then you got Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, all these areas of social media blowing it up to proportion, and then on top of that you got all these other small minor crimes that's still going on. Mind you, it's still going on, and what are you doing? Nothing about it. One thing I will tell you about the Mike Brown incident, and I promise not to say anything for a long time for this whole thing that was going on. I promise forever and ever not to make sure that I didn't say anything about it, but I just can't hold my tongue anymore. I'll tell you this. With the Mike Brown situation, it really does suck, and I pray for the family. Okay? But what I don't like is the backlash that happened from it. What I don't like is what happened when George Zimmerman was indicted. Everybody, and when I say everybody, I mean the media and the social media, exactly. Everybody went crazy. I'm leaving this country. I'm going to Canada. This girl said I'm going to Hawaii. You dummy. But that's neither here or there. But everybody's saying, I'm leaving this country because America's justice system has failed us. No, the American justice system, think about this, hasn't failed, it worked. But that's like, again, neither here or there. But the thing is I'm saying is that when George Zimmerman got acquitted, the whole social media went crazy. They went crazy. And it's bad, but it's good for them. But the problem was that they went crazy for only a little bit. What happened 2 weeks after? What happened after 2 weeks after George Zimmerman's case was thrown out? Nobody did a thing about it. And this brings me to my next thing. Why is it that social media, they go so hard on bashing officers online and offline about protesting and I'm Mike Brown, I'm Trayvon Martin? But what happens after all of that? You don't do a thing about it. You know, one thing that really pissed me off, and it made me even more mad, the fact that I know these people. I was looking online and I saw that Atlanta traffic was blocked off 75 because there were a group of students who had their hands up talking about don't shoot in the middle of the highway at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I know some of these people. And then I was online on Facebook, no lie. And I'm not gonna mention his name, but he was on Facebook bragging about it. You blocked up traffic for what? You blocked up traffic because you're trying to protest in the middle of the street. Not only did you put your life in danger, you put other people's life in danger. Not only did you put both of your lives in danger, yours and the driver's, you put other people's schedule behind. That could have been somebody going to work, coming back from work. Somebody could have had to feed their baby or whatever. And you're blocking all that up. That happened in Missouri. You are in Atlanta. Now, I agree. I praise you for wanting to do something about it. But that right there is not a good way to protest and have your voice heard. You're going to stand in the middle of 75 and you're thinking that's doing something? Mike Brown's parents and Trayvon Martin's parents, you think they're watching that saying, oh, wow, I'm so proud of them because that's what black people do. They stand up for us. No, you're making yourself a fool and you're doing inconsistent, unresponsive, non-important protesting. There was this guy in Chicago, and you think the guy in Atlanta was bad. This guy in Chicago went up to Jesse Jackson. He went up to Jesse Jackson and yelled at him saying, "We the real protesters here. What are you doing? Get out of my city." Excuse me if I said Chicago. I don't think it was Chicago, but I do know it was up north. I think it was in Missouri though. But he said, "We're the real protesters here." You're talking to Jesse Jackson. Remember that. You're talking to a man who had this situation happen to them and had friends that had this situation happen to them. You're talking to the same man that firemen and policemen hosed.